asked, you have her third hour. She says that you stay awake and you talk and like respond in class. And I'm like, I said, well, that's because he naps in mine.
I took some medicine. I'm taking some medicine this week to make me tired.
But I told her, I was like, well, he's getting his morning nap in my class, so he's doing so good in yours. Anyway. But yeah, I was like, I wish he'd stay awake in mine. Okay, here we go. Turning it in.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, what if we have, this one, not ready yet. This one. Let me find one. I don't want a side. This right here. Give me a second to just draw our picture. I prefer this. Okay, this side length is 80. This is 40. This is 78. Oh, hold on. This is Y. This is X. I didn't mean to put degrees on X. What are they wanting? Oh, it says use the law of cosine. Okay. So, on this one, let's find X. Okay? Is everybody, let's not even find Y. We're not worried about that. Let's find X. X goes with what angle? 40. Does everybody see that? So they don't have A's, B's, and C's. They don't really have anything written. Okay? So I know I'm looking for my side X, so it goes over here. Now what are my other two sides?
78.
So I'm going to put 78 squared and 80 squared. Everybody good with that? Then, and I'm just following along. Formulas are written over there. Minus 2 times those same two sides, right? Everybody good with that? Mm-hmm. And then we put times the cosine of 40. That's the angle that's across from here. Is everybody good so far? Now, all you have to do, these are the easier ones, is enter it in right here. So I can do the whole thing, 78 squared plus 80 squared minus 2 times 78 times 80 cosine 40. I hope I entered everything right. And it tells me that, be careful here, X squared is this number right here. Now notice, if you write that your answer is 2,923, would that even make sense that this has a side length of 78, this has a side length of 80, and this would be a side length of 2,000? That should automatically make you think that's not right. What's my last step here? Square root it. So I would just type in square root, and if you have one of these calculators, you can just scroll up, bring it down. Now 54, does that sound more like it? I know it's smaller than the other two, but that's fine. It's still like in the double digits. Okay? So are we good with that one? Do y'all want one more like yesterday's? No?
Okay.
Y'all are good.
So we're just trying to find the other side.
Yeah, on that one. Now, they want us to find Y, which at that point, I would just use the law of sines to find my other angle. Yeah, I would just use the law of sines. Okay? But I'm not going to do that. We're just going to focus on law of cosines today. So y'all are ready for the other problem. This problem, they give us 3 sides. So we're missing what? Angles. It's 4.4, 6.7, 7.1. All right, there's my A, B, and C. Oh, what do they call it? TUV. TUV. They want us to find angle V. I'm going to circle this one right here. Is everybody good so far? I just wrote down my picture, and they told us to find angle V. Now, if I'm trying to find angle V, which side goes with that? 4.4. So what goes on the, like by itself, is the 4.4. Okay, do y'all remember? Does that make sense? Remember, the angle that goes with that, okay, that makes that number 4.4 go over here. Yes, are we good with that? Does everybody understand why I didn't choose these two? Okay, so then you write this number squared, minus 2 times both of those numbers times cosine of V. and I'm looking for V. Now this one is different, okay? What I'll do is I'm gonna find this number right here, okay? Since these are being added together, I'll find these two. You cannot subtract this from it. These are being multiplied to the cosine of V. So this is separate than these, okay? So I'll bring down, well, what is 4.4 squared? Let me do that first. 4.4 squared, 19.36. Then I'm going to do these two things. This is where most people mess up. They try to type all these numbers in. You cannot put this with this because it's being multiplied over here. You cannot. So I will only type in 6.7 squared plus 7.1 squared. This number is 95.3. Minus, now what will I do with these three numbers? Multiply them. This must be done separate, okay? So 2 times 6.7 times 7.1. Making sure I did that. Okay, so 95.14 cosine V. Is everybody okay with this? Now, this is just an algebra problem. Okay, let's pretend, let's take a little side note. I'll erase this in a second. If I had 10 equals 2 minus, actually, I'll do 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2a. This is the same type of problem. I have a number over here. Does everybody see that? Mm-hmm. I have a number right here. Then I have minus something times our variable. Is everybody good with this? This one just looks way more like algebra. How would you solve this one in the blue? You would subtract 4. Okay? So in a second, what are we going to move? Subtract that. Okay? I'll do that in a minute. Now, then I would get 6 equals negative 2a. Then what would I do? Divide by negative 2. So I get a equals negative 3. And on this one, I'd be done. So I'm going to subtract this, and then what am I going to do? Divide that negative number.
Yeah, but then do you just leave your cosine, or do you put your cosine in as x?
You put your cosine negative 1. You do the inverse.
Oh.
So anyway, and then we're done. But I just want you to know this is the harder problem. This one is way harder than the others because when you figure out these things, you have to move that.
How many of these are we doing?
Move that. On your sheet, it shouldn't be too many because these take a little while. It's a lot of stuff in the calculator. So let's actually go through the problem. So y'all said we're going to subtract 95.3. Okay, I don't know what that is. Actually, I could just probably look at my paper. What is that? Negative 75.94? Mm-hmm. Okay. Negative 75.94. And then I get this number over here. Is everybody good with that?
You're writing so fast.
Sorry, I'll wait. That's probably why I don't have the best handwriting. It's because I write so fast. We're right. Okay, now we're going to divide, right? So I will divide by that negative 95.14. So over here, I get cosine V. And if I get negative 75.94 divided by. And remember, it should be a number that's like between 0 and 1. And it just keeps going. Now, and then Carden pointed out, all I did was I divided these two numbers. Carden pointed out, do we leave it like this or do we have to solve for V? We have to solve for the angle. And remember, when it gets to this point and you're looking for the angle, you just press cosine inverse of that. Second cosine, and I pulled that down, and I get 37 degrees. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just a lot.
It is a lot. Look at that problem. That's
Okay, wait, so for the inverse, do you multiply it by that number? How'd you put it in?
cosine to the negative 1, second cosine. And then I just scrolled up and got that decimal that they gave me and pressed enter. Okay.
When I try to do the negative 75 divided by the negative
95, it said error.
Try again. You might have pressed something wrong. Do negative. Make sure you don't have. Make sure you didn't use a minus sign.
Okay.
Did that work? Sometimes you might have done the minus sign. Okay, so let's find. Do y'all want to just find angle T now? Sure. Do y'all want to? I'm trying to think.
Is it just the same thing over and over again? Yeah.
So
Let's
we
just
use
have
have
it
peg 1 first.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think we need to go over one more, huh? Yeah. So if I'm trying to find, I'm just going to use the same numbers because we're used to these. If I'm trying to find angle T, what goes by itself over there? 7.1. So on my, I'm going to have to, well, I'll just zoom out. Let me zoom out and then, okay, so 7.1 goes by itself. Then my other two numbers, see, it changes the whole problem. When we change the angle, everything mixes up. So my other two sides are the 4 and the 6. Don't forget their decimals though, okay? Then minus 2 times both of those. And then the cosine of t.
I set it up right.
Okay, and these two things should go together. All right. Now, remember, you can't type all that in. Break it up into two parts. We type this in and we type this in. Okay, I want y'all to just get used to that. So what is 7.1 squared?
64.25.
I got 50
Oh, sorry, 7.1.
50.41. Then I'm going to type in the other two things. And let me show you the 4.4 and the 6.7. That's what you were saying? Yeah, that is 64.25. Then I'll type in these three things. 2 times 4.4 times 6.7. And I get this. Okay, then how do we solve? Probably the same thing every time. We subtract and then we divide.
So 64 minus 58.96.
Well, you'll do that. No. You can't do these two things. Look, you can't. That's what this is where everybody makes a mistake. You can't subtract these two things. This one has a variable. This one does not.
Okay.
So you have to move it. So you'll subtract it over here. What do I get? That minus that. I get a negative 13.84. And then I'll bring this down. Now what do we do? Divide by the negative 58, whatever. And then I'll do, divided by negative 58.96.
I got 0.234.
Yep, 0.2347, da 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 da. Yeah, I would say it shouldn't be, or this one's not negative. So then what do? That's not your answer. You, what? Second cosine it. Second cosine. So I press second cosine. And look, I'll show y'all. I just typed second cosine and it gave me that. And then I scroll up here and I pull that decimal down. And it tells me it's 76.4. Or I'll just leave it at T is 76 degrees. Okay? How are we with this?
Still trying to get through this problem by myself.
It's a lot of algebra, y'all. A lot of algebra.
Can we go and do the worksheet?
Yeah, I'm going to print out your worksheet, y'all, and it's just going to take practice. You will have to show your work. If you give me a paper and say on a problem you don't show your work, I'm going to act like you didn't even do it. Because can anybody do this in their head?
No.
Not in this class, including your teacher. I could not have done this in my head. So, not one of us can do that in our head. If you don't show your work, you won't get any points. Yes?
Is this paper just going to be all the angles?
No, I think it's because we didn't do any yesterday, right? So the first ones are probably going to be the easier ones. You just plug it in your calculator and it'll find the sides. But I do want you, that'll be like this up here. At least write this down. And then, you might have a couple steps. So the first few problems, it's not many steps.
It won't let me put this on my calculator.
Put what?
The cosine inverse with the 55. Oh.
No, it won't let you do that because the number, anytime you do the inverse, it has to be less than 1. It has to be a decimal, a very small decimal.
Well, I got
It can't find the cosine of a number that's bigger than 1. That doesn't exist.
I got a completely different number than that.
Did you divide the negative 13 by the negative 58?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I know it's decimals too, but. Where is
I don't think
y'all?
I put the negative signs. No, I didn't put the negative signs.
All right. Can I stop the video here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You still video?
Still videoing. Hope y'all didn't say anything about anybody.
I'll make sure to watch it too.